She has clearly gone nuts.
She has definitely gone nuts. I have not gone nuts. We've had this stuff for years. I mean, what is even that?
This is antique electrical components.
Well, can I get rid
These
of
are going to be worth a fortune. The British Museum's going to want this one day. Look at that.
Look, that's
wireless LAN card
disc.
bus.
That's for...
It's not for a floppy disk. It's actually something for an old printer we don't have anymore. It lets you print on CDs.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, that is my favourite water pistol ever. That mustn't go anywhere.
Get rid of that.
Are you helping, Jasper?
Yeah.
Can we put some of these boxes up there? These boxes.
Yep. Oh my word, it's absolute chaos. Chaos, I tell you. Don't worry about the glue. I will do it. I'll take it upstairs to the office and I will do it, Jasper. Super glue is not something for little boys. Yeah, it's kind of one of those days, so I'm not going to do a proper sort of blog post. We're not really going anywhere interesting anyway, or doing anything particularly interesting. I mean, more just a sort of doing things sort of day. Everyone's got to have them. I try and avoid having them, which is part of the reason why this is my office. Yeah, maybe I should take a leaf from Soph's book on this one. Top super gluing tip here. When you're having trouble getting something to stick properly, if you use a little bit of tissue paper, it soaks up the super glue and it forms a kind of carbon fibre super glue equivalent. So now, hopefully, we'll just be able to pop this. Uh-oh, I've done it wrong. Okay, I've sort of got the wheels back on this monster truck now, but unfortunately, I don't know if the wheels are going to go round properly. You've got to wait until the super glue is finished drying, Jasper. Super glue is not for children. I think it's time to sort of have a recap of where we got to with the car decision situation for Soph.
The glue's not right. I like diesel cars.
You like diesel cars?
Yeah, because they're one of my favourite cars.
Mummy's got a diesel car, but we're hoping that she's going to get an electric car soon.
No one's got a Mercedes car.
Yeah, but it's a diesel Mercedes car.
But I like diesel cars.
Why do you like diesel cars?
Because they're the best.
Do you like petrol cars?
No, I like diesel cars.
He's quite adamant that diesel's the way forward. It really isn't. You see, this is the problem that the government has created with its misinformation about diesel. I thought it was probably a good idea to give a bit of an update as to some of the EVs we've been looking at and how we feel about them, because I wouldn't want to appear to be unfair to them. We are holding them up to quite a high standard because we're trying to replace a C-Class Mercedes and we're trying to not go so far as to have to buy a Tesla in order to do it. Range is probably the biggest barrier. One thing is clear, the breadth of EVs that are available with a sensible range has really increased. Medium range EVs, I suppose. You've got the Nissan Leaf, which we haven't actually tested because I don't think it's going to have enough range. It's actually quite a good car. Soph likes that one quite a lot. She likes the build quality, the sound is good. Generally, it's a thumbs up. It just isn't going to do the range for her, unfortunately. There is another slight issue with the fact that because the battery is not properly cooled and it's quite a big battery, what tends to happen is it heats up a lot quicker than the old 24 kilowatt hour ones did if you drive and charge and drive and charge. Then you've got the Renault Zoe. Now, I really liked the Renault Zoe because it was the first EV that doesn't come from Tesla that I've ever driven where I thought, you know what, this has got a really sensible, doable amount of range. We were in a fairly low spec one, so the sound wasn't great, but if you put the top spec Bose speakers in, I'm sure the sound quality will be perfectly passable. The Hyundai, that was actually a really good car. I did really like it. I don't know how the build quality is. I have a bit of a question mark, shall we say, about how long that battery is going to last, which is less of a problem in a leased vehicle, of course, but I can't help but thinking it's only a 28 kilowatt hour battery. It had a temperature gauge on the dash, which to my mind indicates that temperature of the battery is something that you need to keep an eye on, a bit like the old Nissan Leafs that didn't have any thermal management in their batteries. If that's the case, then the fact that it can charge quite quickly from DC, it's able to accelerate quite quickly, so it can put the battery under quite a lot of strain, both power in and power out. It's their first EV. I'm thinking to myself, Do you think perhaps they've just squeezed the absolute max out of the battery that they can and not necessarily made it as reliable as you might hope? I would definitely lease the Hyundai if we were going to get one. But the real core problem with the Hyundai, it doesn't have the range. Not really. Soph needs to be able to do over 100 miles. Definitely over 100 miles in a charge. If there's not going to be any kind of a petrol backup, it really needs to be heading in the direction of 150 miles. And that is something that current medium range EVs struggle with. The Renault Zoe is kind of just about there. It's kind of just on the cusp between what I'd call medium range and long range EVs. So, you know, but then it has the other issues. That just basically leaves the next EV, which we're hopefully going to try out. Not 100% an EV, it's 90% an EV with, as my dad likes to say, a petrol generator in the boot. And I think it will suit Soph quite well because it will do the 100-mile electric only journey reasonably easily. 95% of the time she's going to just use the EV battery and will get all those lovely fuel savings. But at the same time, and this is quite critical, if she suddenly needs to go somewhere 50 miles away for a meeting she didn't even know she had to do, it's not a case of, oh, that's fantastic, I'll be there in an hour and a half because I've got to go charge the car at a motorway service station. i3 range extender. I think that's the best bet. And if that isn't going to happen, then reality is she'll have to stay in her diesel Merc. Luckily, if she does stay in the Merc, at the end of the year, there'll hopefully be a longer range Nissan Leaf. That would probably be my top bet. I'd love to say we could wait for the Model 3, but the reality is, in right-hand drive form in the UK, we've got to be talking 2.5, if not 3 years from now, before it's readily available. I hope you've all enjoyed today's little video, and I will see you tomorrow for the next installment of my daily vlog. Bye! Right, I am awake. Really I am. I don't normally do this shooting in the morning for an upload later that day. Catching up on stuff day. End of the month admin. Things like that. Means the time has been short. And also, we didn't go anywhere. Which is really annoying. I hate it when we don't go anywhere. Much more fun when we do.